Hi, welcome or welcome back. This is Crime Science and my name is Ani. The story I'm going to talk about today is not an easy one, but I am going to ask you to please try and sit until the end. The main thing to take away with this story is if you see something, say something. By the age of 2, a toddler is supposed to be talking, walking, climbing, jumping, and bursting with energy. Your child now has a growing vocabulary and acquires new words on a regular basis. They can sort shapes and colors and may even show an interest in potty training. But not Chane. At only 2 years old, she endured the most horrible abuse from none other than her parents. That she is now fighting for her life with all that she has. But unfortunately, that little 2-year-old body was just not strong enough to fight through the damage that 2 adults caused. So, let's meet these 2 parents, Belinda and Stephan Bezuidenhout. They were, for whatever reason, not very active on social media. There was also very few people willing to talk about them, meaning that I do not have much to share about their backgrounds, but let's keep it that way. The story is not about them. Born in November 2018 with the most beautiful big eyes, looking just like a doll, Chane was supposed to be loved and cared for by her mother and father, but at just 4 weeks old, she was found in her cot, no clothes, no bottle, smeared with her own feces, and clearly in distress. Her little brother, who was about 3 years at that time, was on the floor picking up anything he could find that he saw as food and tried to put it in his mouth because he was just so hungry. Where is mommy and daddy, you ask? Out drinking and using drugs. The 2 of them was then taken from the house and placed with the most wonderful couple who showered them with love and gifts and fed them balanced meals. These foster parents fought to keep those 2 beautiful little kids, but the court ordered them to go back to that horrific circumstances in November 2020. How did this happen, you ask? Well, multiple negative drug tests and all went well on regular visitations. So it was deemed safe for the kids to go back. Apparently, a follow-up call was made, and there was no reason to suspect abuse. Calls? Yes, just calls. To the abusers themselves. No one even bothered to go and do an actual visit to the house to see what the kids looked like. By this time, it was the 3rd time this little boy was taken from his parents. The first time, he was about a year old. Now there's conflicting statements about how he was found, but apparently a car guard found him, alone in the car, while mommy and daddy is out drinking and using drugs. He was given back after just 3 months. He was again taken away in July of 2018 due to severe burns on his little 3-year-old body. The scars from that are still visible to this day. Now he said that he enraged his mother, and she threw him with boiling water. According to Mommy Dearest, she was walking past him and the boiling water fell on him due to the place being small and cramped. An honest mistake, she said. It's not clear when he was placed back into the care of his parents, but only 5 months after that, this happened. You can only imagine how confused that boy must have been, being moved from one place to another. When he was with his parents, he would listen to regular arguments, often turning into violent assaults. Often, that was mixed with alcohol and drug abuse. Stephan admitted that they used drugs like tick and cat. The abuse the kids endured on top of this environment was even worse, being hit with electrical cords, smeared with feces, forced to eat, and even being strangled with electrical cables several times. Belinda also said that the arguments between her and Stephan often turned violent. According to Belinda, she never filed a complaint because she feared what Stephan would do. She also could not just leave, since she was financially dependent on Stephan, and he reminded her thereof often. Belinda did not trust any family or friends to talk to them about the abuse. She said she was scared that they would turn on her and not keep it to themselves, and the kids would be taken away again. Belinda said that she would always forgive Stephan afterwards because he would plead for her forgiveness and apologize for his behavior, and even cry at times and promise to do better. Stephan said he would sometimes see marks on Chane but according to his knowledge, Belinda would never abuse the kids. Obviously, Belinda completely denies that there was ever any marks on either of the kids. He also claimed that the kids are the most important thing in his life and that they did not always properly look after the kids, but would never abuse them. Chane's little brother testified in court and was seen as credible. Let's talk about just a few things he said. And please, rather skip this part if you get triggered to listen to details of child abuse. I only mention these gruesome acts to paint a full picture of the last days of this little girl's life. Absolutely no disrespect to the victims in this case. Also to bring awareness that abuse, more often than not, can and will result in death, especially when it comes to children. They have no one to turn to. The people they were supposed to turn to were the abusers. The other people in the house just turned a blind eye. Chane's brother, who will for obvious reasons not be named, testified that he was in the room when Stephan threw Chane against the cupboard. He saw more than once how Belinda choked Chane with the electrical cable. He even stood up and reenacted how it was done. Sometimes when Chane would not want to eat, they would cover her mouth and push her really hard on her stomach. She would sometimes vomit while trying to eat and would then be instructed by Stephan to eat her own vomit. They accused each other of getting agitated when Chane would not eat fast enough or everything on her plate. The brother would sometimes think that his sister was almost dead when these things would happen. He remembered that Chane cried a lot on the day she died, and she was very nauseous. Belinda pushed the milk bottle hard into Chane's mouth until she vomited. That little boy testified that Chane was choked with a thick cable before paramedics arrived, and that he saw bruises on Chane's body before she was taken away by paramedics. He would add that he misses his sister. Now, back to that cold winter's day on the 11th of May 2021. I'm not sure which one it was, but Stephan said he got either a call or a message from Belinda saying that Chane was dead. He then rushed from work, took Chane outside and placed her on the sidewalk where he cried for help. And it was there on the ice-cold sidewalk where little Chane, clearly underfed, was pronounced dead by paramedics. What makes this story even stranger is that there did not live 2 but 3 families in that house. Could no one else do anything? Not just that day, but the days leading up to that day. In court, it came to light that Chane was previously hit on the head with a safety boot. She was thrown against the cupboard and broke a leg and an arm. All that happened only in 6 months since she was placed back in the home of her parents. Remember now, she was taken away from her parents at only 1 month old and then placed with her foster parents, where she was treated like a princess and showered with love. Little Chane was also anally raped by her dad with his fingers. He completely denies this, but pathologists saw definite evidence of penetration, and he was also found guilty of that rape charge, so he can deny all he wants. The evidence speaks for itself. According to Belinda, 3 days before Chane's death, she was sick and vomited almost non-stop. Belinda claims that Chane choked on her own vomit, and that's the reason for her death. Just a few questions. So, she was sick for 3 days prior to her death. Did the vomit stop for 2 days and then just start again? If it continued, why was she never taken to a doctor? If sick, why would she then not have any warm clothes on, especially in the winter? According to the pathologist, the cause of death was suffocation due to pressure on the neck. Obviously, Belinda will deny that. The pathologist also recorded 30 marks and bruises on that little body in various stages of healing. And you would think that someone would see those marks and bruises and say something, especially if she was wearing summer clothes, specifically on the day she died. Stephan, now on the other hand, has selective amnesia due to the trauma and stress, and can't even remember seeing any bruises on the day of her death. He now admits that they were negligent, but that was never the intent. Belinda and Stephan were both found guilty of all charges: 2 cases of child abuse, rape, murder, and 2 cases of assault with intent to do grievous bodily harm. They await sentencing, and I will share that on my Instagram as soon as sentencing is done. If you made it this far, thank you so much. If you appreciate me telling Chane's story, please hit the like button. Also remember to subscribe to get notifications of more of these stories. Till next time, bye.